Cross an SUV with a small truck, says car tester Sasha Knapp, and you get a pickup. In the past, that hasn't really been an option for most Europeans. To change that, Nissan has made the newest generation of the Navara more comfortable and more suitable for families. Pickups are old hat in the United States, but they're a new trend in Germany. More and more manufacturers are producing versions adapted to European driving conditions. The great popularity of SUVs has accustomed European drivers to the off-road look. Some automakers can hardly produce enough SUVs to meet demand, and now pickups are available too. Sasha says inventing the Qashqai compact crossover was a bonanza for Nissan. It sold like hotcakes, and Nissan hopes this pickup will do the same. Here in the Navara, he says it's easy to forget what kind of vehicle you're in. The dashboard is reminiscent of an SUV, and like in an SUV, the seating position is high, providing a good overview in traffic. The Navara's handling has greatly improved as well. It may be 5.33 meters long, but the Japanese vehicle doesn't take corners like a truck. With a turning circle of 12.4 meters, it's much smoother and more agile than its predecessor, thanks to the newly developed multi-link rear suspension, which is also 20 kilograms lighter than the old rigid axle with leaf springs. The old model suspension technology felt like that of a stagecoach. Our tester points out another new development. If you want to change direction, you have a 360-degree camera and a bird's eye image of your vehicle on the road. And there's also a rear-view camera. The new Navara, specially designed for European driving conditions, is brawnier, but less angular than its predecessor. Nissan is sticking with what paid off in the Qashqai and X-Trail, concave and convex surfaces, and Nissan's V-shaped radiator grille and boomerang-shaped LED daytime running lights. Then there's the sleek cabin. It's designed to minimize turbulence in the flow of air toward the bed of the pickup. The new Navara's tailgate has a spoiler above its handle. The cockpit is uncluttered and looks like it could belong to a car. There's also a new sat-nav, and for the first time in a pickup of this class, keyless entry. The front seats are so comfortable you might not want to get out. They support the natural form of your spine and prevent you from taking a seating posture that makes your legs fall asleep. But the back seats hardly take a back seat either, jokes Sasha. Their angle has increased from 18 to 23 degrees, so they're quite comfortable too. You have leg room and headroom. The roof is 1.57 meters high.
Wir haben hier eine Höhe von 1,57 Meter, kann man das hier hinten ganz gut eine Weile aushalten.
Nissan boasts that it has 80 years of experience building utility vehicles. That's if you count the Datsun brand that it brought out and revived in the meantime.
1959, Datsun introduces the first small pickup.
I never saw one of these before.
Oh, you will. Since then, Datsun has sold more small pickups than anyone. In standard, extra-long stretch bed, and the one and only roomy King Cab. Datsun, #1 imported pickup for 19 years. Value, choice, quality. We demand nothing less.
So how does the Navara measure up as a utility vehicle? Its 1.54-meter-long flatbed can bear a load weighing a ton, so it can transport 42 sacks of cement, 1,000 liters of water, or 2.2 cubic meters of wood. And its towing capacity is 3.5 tons. To produce that much power, Nissan gave the pickup a 2.3-liter diesel engine with 2 power levels. One delivers 120 kilowatts, the other 140. Nissan says the Navara uses 24% less fuel than its predecessor. At the moment, its diesel engines fulfill only the Euro 5 norm. In the fall, they'll be converted to meet the Euro 6 norm. for its off-road suitability. In contrast to many SUVs, the Navara really can rough it, thanks to its selectable all-wheel drive, standard hill start assist, and hill descent control, and 22.3 centimeters of ground clearance. And it's as watertight as a rubber boot, so off-road driving is really fun. Whether a pickup is right for everyday use is an economic decision. Like all vehicles in its class, the Navara is officially classed as a truck, making it cheaper to operate than an SUV with the same performance characteristics. That's the trick Nissan uses in the United States too. Pickups are considered trucks, so emissions regulations aren't as strict for them as for cars. Sasha is really taken with the Nissan Navara, but he says it doesn't fit his needs. He lives in downtown Cologne and can't imagine finding a parking spot for a vehicle this long and wide, unless Nissan greatly increases the ground clearance again and he can park it over top two subcompacts. Is this the kind of modified vehicle our tester is thinking of? Luckily, these monster trucks aren't street legal in Germany. In 2016, BMW is celebrating its 100th anniversary with the slogan, "The Next 100 Years." The Bavarian carmaker can look back on a successful history, but it also has visions for the future. Its vehicle prototype BMW Vision Next 100 shows what mobility may look like in a few decades. Our car tester Matas Kurat says this jewel is the brainchild of BMW's head designer, Adrian van Hooijdonk. He asks him how difficult it is to give shape to a vision for the next century. The designer says BMW has been working on this project for a year and a half, but of course no one can see into the future. First, his team thought about what the future might hold, what technologies might be available, and how a car could be built that would make driving even more enjoyable. The BMW Vision Next 100 is a mixture of sporty coupe and a dynamic, elegant sedan. What's revolutionary is its shape-changing body. Matas notes a lot of unfamiliar features. For example, the wheels are invisible, hidden within the body. How can they be turned? Adrian van Hooijdonk explains that the wheels are fully enclosed because that greatly improves the car's aerodynamics. He admits that this meant steering was a problem to be solved, and the solution is what BMW calls a live geometry. The body consists of many individual interlocking parts that allow the body to change shape enough that the wheels can turn.
Sich so weit bewegen lassen, dass das Rad tatsächlich lenken kann.
The wheel housings expand to accommodate the turning wheels. Matas sees that the interior has really changed too. The designer suggests taking a closer look. Matas wants to know how the doors open. A wave of your hand does it, says BMW's designer. Matas is fascinated. There's no key at all. Van Hooijdonk says no key will be needed in the future. The car will recognize who wants to get in. The car still has normal seats to sit on, observes Matas. Adrian van Hooijdonk says those seats have lots of room. The car is the size of a 5 Series model, a sedan, but it has the room of a 7 Series. You can sit in several different positions, depending on whether you're driving or letting the car drive you. Matas asks how you steer with no steering wheel and no speedometer. BMW's designer says that's because the car is in its self-driving ease mode. In that mode, you can take it easy, lean against the door, and do other things, like talk on the phone or watch a film. But the Vision Next 100 also has a boost mode, a steering bar comes out to let you drive yourself. There's the steering bar, says Montes. Van Hooijdonk says the car is now in boost mode, ready for a human driver. All the information you need is displayed on the windshield. The dashboard also supports the driver with a live geometry. For example, if there is a hazard, it alerts the driver to the danger coming from a certain direction or tells him that he'd better brake. A live geometry facilitates the interaction between driver and vehicle. It's expected to be on the road in 2 or 3 vehicle generations, but BMW has some other ideas that will be realized much sooner. Harald Kruger, BMW's chairman of the board, says the electric motor of the new i3 BMW will be released this year with a 50% greater range. Then in 2018, the i8 Roadster, a very emotionally appealing sports car, will come on the market. At the beginning of the next decade, the BMW iNext will be released, a technological pioneer for lightweight construction, connectivity, autonomous driving, and networking. So BMW has big plans for the near and the distant future. Mercedes-Benz is heading into this year's open-air season with its first C-Class convertible, which now rounds out its selection of convertibles with classic soft tops. But this convertible is equipped with an automatic air cap wind deflector system and an air scarf headroom heater, making it comfortable to drive with the top down year-round. The new C-Class convertible is slated for release in the summer of 2016. Subaru is presenting the 2016 version of its compact classic, the Impreza, with a new selection of engines and changes in its safety and comfort features. Like almost all Subarus, the newest edition of this 5-door car has permanent all-wheel drive as standard equipment. The buyer can choose between a 1.6-liter and a 2-liter gasoline engine. The Impreza starts at 18,600 euros in Germany. Compacts are an important segment of the automobile industry. They are attractive for both novice and experienced drivers, and also as a second car. So it's not surprising that the selection on the market is large. Individuality is becoming more and more important in compacts. So why not choose a car that stands out from the masses, like the Mito from Italy? Our car tester Andre Zimmermann says tradition, Italian design, and passion have long been core values for Alfa Romeo, and this characteristic radiator grille design is also the brand's trademark. We're testing the Mito in the Junior Edition. Its white 17-inch wheels and mirror covers are eye-catchers. The Junior logo on the rear is attractive too. Inside, the seats vary with the equipment package. The infotainment system has a 5-inch touchscreen. Andre wishes he found the passion and design of the exterior in the interior as well, but everything is very dark and monochromatic. He doesn't think the radio is integrated well either. What he does like are the instruments. They look very sporty, and he finds the Italian labels on them charming. Our Mito with the basic engine costs 16,600 euros in Germany. It gets a top speed of 165 kilometers an hour. This engine does without turbocharging and generates only 57 kilowatts. Andre says this test car doesn't completely fulfill Alfa Romeo's promise of driving passion and top-notch technology. The basic gasoline engine is not very powerful, and that's also turned Andre's enjoyment down a notch. The suspension is suited for sporty driving, nice and stiff, but the engine lags behind. Andre would prefer a smaller steering wheel. This one is more like that of a van than of a sporty compact. For an additional €1,300, you can get the Mito with a 0.9-liter twin-air engine. This turbocharged two-cylinder offers 72 kilowatts and adds 30 newton-meters of torque to the basic engine. And the investment could pay off and save fuel because the more expensive engine is supposed to consume 1.4 liters less gasoline per 100 kilometers. Andre gives us his overall impression: tradition, Italian design, and passion. They're all there in the exterior, and the suspension is very sporty. As long as you're willing to invest a bit more in the engine, you'll end up with a chic little speedster.
Mit dem Mito auf jeden Fall einen sehr schönen, knackigen kleinen Flitzer in der Hand.
Our car tester Reinhold Deisenhofer asks if giving a Mini 5 doors is really a good idea. Big adults with lots of luggage will answer yes, because this model is 16 centimeters longer and boasts 67 more liters of cargo space. But does it still look good? He thinks that's a matter of taste. It's like when an older relative came to visit, pinched your cheek and said, "My, how you've grown." They noticed the difference, even if you didn't. Over the years, the original 3-door Mini has grown up and gotten bigger too, almost unnoticed. The design remains virtually unchanged for the 5-door model. Its chrome-trimmed round headlights and taillights, the rounded lines of its body, and the typical Mini radiator grille make the 5-door version look young, compact, and almost cute, in spite of its larger dimensions. It's enough to make you want to give the car a pinch and say, "My, how you've grown." Reinhold says the other question that needs asking about the 5-door Mini is, how does it drive? Differently from the 3-door? The short answer is no, there's almost no difference. The 5-door Mini still gives you the feeling of driving a go-kart.
Go-kart feeling.
So the 5-door version not only looks like a Mini, it feels like one too. Inside, things look much the same as in the traditional 3-door Mini. As always, the workmanship is good and the materials are of high quality. The big infotainment system can be operated easily and intuitively using the knob in the center console. And all common portable electronic devices can be connected to it. The 5-door Mini boasts more room for passengers and their bags without making many changes to the vehicle's look. Reinhold says 7 centimeters of knee clearance in the rear is quite a lot. The 5-door is also 6 centimeters wider and 1 centimeter higher than the 3-door model, making for an incredible feeling of space. Still, the middle seat in the back is suited only for short jaunts. Looking at the technical data, the 75 kilowatt engine lets the car accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 10.1 seconds. The manufacturer says fuel consumption is 4.9 liters per 100 kilometers. Prices for the Mini 1 5-door start at just under 19,000 euros in Germany. Drivers can select from various driving modes, including green, mid, and sport. Choose the sport mode in combination with a 6-speed transmission, and you'll almost feel like you're piloting a go-kart. Reinhold says that the 5-door Mini is pretty cute and more of a Mini than its fellow countrymen or Paceman models. But the list of optional extras is extremely long and they can really add up. The Histo Monte Rally takes vintage cars from Mainz to Monaco. Over 4 days, drivers recapture the spirit of the first Monte Carlo Rally. Journalist Jochen Freirichs takes us along for the ride in a classic Seat. He says the 1,700-kilometer trip is about to start. This little Seat Fiera Chrono generates 75 horsepower, yet has a curb weight of just 700 kilos, so we're in for a fun ride. Our light little Seat might even be able to leave this considerably more powerful Porsche Armada eating its dust on the tight curves. But the Histo Monte Rally is not about speed. It's all about smoothness. And it's up to the co-pilot to monitor that. Matthias Becher is our timekeeper. He says they'll set off at 7 a.m. and arrive at 10 p.m., but it's fun. They have a great time in the cockpit, and all's going smoothly. Until it was replaced by the Ibiza in 1984, the Fiera was the Spanish manufacturer's best-selling model. Some dealers sold it in Germany. Our Fiera Chrono was the top-of-the-line version, a forerunner to Seat's current Cupra models. A quick look under the hood reveals a huge strut brace, proof of its sporting creed. Seat's Historical Vehicles Department, which is based in Barcelona, has fixed up the Fiera Chrono for us. The car now boasts 4 CB headlamps, the size of dinner plates, especially for the rally's night stages. Because it belongs to a Seat factory team, our Fiera enjoys the best of care during the rally. If needed, the entire engine could be replaced with a brand new one within 3 hours. And the Seat mechanics have even brought a new gearbox along, just in case. Other teams aren't so lucky, and some are just plain unlucky, like Manuel Roth from Switzerland and his Lancia Fulvia. He says he'd braked and put on his blinker to turn left, but the driver behind wasn't paying attention and pushed him into oncoming traffic. There was a big crash, and he and his co-pilot were covered with broken glass. You can see the force of the impact back here. He says it really got his heart pumping and adrenaline flowing, though it was just a fender bender. No reason to pull out of the rally. But for us, things are going like clockwork. The Fiera Chrono tackles the alpine climbs like a mountain goat, whether it's dry, wet, or snowy. Even the older competitors are giving it their all. This 1959 Mercedes 220S still has its original paint. Its owner plans to give the car a complete overhaul. Take everything out, clean and polish it, check for and remove any rust. Otherwise, it'll be a wreck in a few years. He says winter rallies like this take their toll. We're nearing the finish line. The last stop on this year's Histo Monte Rally is the Hotel des Trois Vallées on the Col dei Torini high mountain pass. It's here that the famous Night of the Long Knives stage takes place. After covering 1,700 kilometers in 4 days, the final battle is fought here. Jochen says we're now here on the legendary Col dei Torini, just before the end of the rally, and the Seat has had no technical problems at all. It's truly rally-proven. From here, it's downhill all the way. At the bottom, the port of Monaco awaits. We have 4 wonderful but grueling days behind us, though our little Seat is raring to do it all over again.